Okay, we are on. Starting to record. Today is November the 19th, 2020, and you're listening to or you're tuning into the New Human Experience podcast. And the topic for tonight is the nature of truth. I picked this topic because this whole month we're talking about illumination, and I've already explained that illumination is really the process of ascension or awakening to who we truly are. So then the nature of truth, then it is really part of the I would say the part of the journey to know who we are is really to know what the truth is. And more so now than ever before is that there's been so much um, talk about fake news, fact checking, and a lot of censorship going on, and all that. So the truth has become kind of an endangered commodity. And why is the truth under so much attack and so much suppression and so much manipulation? It's really pretty hard for anyone to like turn on the TV or turn on or go look at social media without being bombarded by different people trying to sell you their version of the truth. So in the midst of all this, then let's kind of explore how come the truth is so convoluted, let's put it that way. So when I look at the truth and the symbolic meaning is really, for me, the truth is really light. So where there is light, then the truth, you will see the truth. The truth will be revealed. And when we live according to our own truth and live according to what we think of, what we believe to be true, then our frequency is naturally high. And when we allow ourselves to really say our truth and be able to be who we truly are, no matter where we're at, who are we with, then our innate frequency, our innate light shines through. And we actually, it's one of the ways that we can actually raise our own frequency is really to stick to the truth. And when we have to tiptoe around people who don't agree with what we believe in, whether they are the people we work with, and in the workplace, or they are in our family, where people that we live with don't like the way we put things, the way we say things, or how we express what we feel in the moment. That's when we start to get like we start to have this difficulty in living a high vibrational environment. And so I, j- let's take a look at what that is. The truth. The truth is the truth that we believe in. Like even the truth, let's say, okay, something very basic is that is we think of truth as being some what happened. So whatever happened, that's the truth. However, we because we cannot be in all places all the time. So a lot of times we have to rely on what other people tell us in order to know the truth, in order to know what happened. So when we because we are so localized in a lot of ways that we can't really verify for ourselves what actually happened. So that is one of the ways that we're disconnected from the truth. When we only rely on our physical senses, rely on our eyes, our ears to hear certain things, and when we only rely on our physical senses, then our connection to the truth is very limited. And so we have to, a lot of the times, rely on other people telling us what actually happened. And and sometimes we believe the people, and sometimes we don't believe them. So that is really some of the challenges that we have in terms of figuring out what the truth is. So I want to look at this truth, our quest for the truth, from the point of view of being a tool for us to raise our consciousness, because that's really my focus. My focus in doing this podcast is really to facilitate everybody to raise their own consciousness, their vibration. And so I'm going to look at the truth from this point of view. And I want to simply confess that I struggle with this. I struggle with this topic. Um, I actually wrote at least two versions of what I'm going to say tonight. And when just about 5 minutes before the podcast started, I still am not satisfied with what I've, like, the two versions that I've written down. Not because that there is anything that I did not tell the truth in in any one of those two versions. The fact is that the truth is, I don't know the truth yet, because as a human being, we how should I put it? We only have access to certain kinds of information. We have been so controlled by our environment. I think earlier this week, Tuesday, Franco Di Nicola has a talk on, what brings our vibration down. A lot of things actually brings our vibration down. It's And if you really talk about, if you really want to have one way of defining what brings our vibration down, it is really to be disconnected with ourselves. The more we are disconnected with who we truly are, the more our frequency, or our, in other words, our vibration would drop. So, and we're not in a society where the truth is valued. Yes, we pay lip service to the fact that we value the truth, and there are actually laws that we can, for example, that there are actually laws that tells us that if we don't say the truth, it's actually, there are consequences. For example, if we spread lies about somebody, they can sue us for libel. And if we don't tell the truth, if we kind of fake any kind of material things in a contract, then it actually nullifies the whole contract. So there are consequences to not telling the truth, and that actually is an evidence that society, at the very top level, at the lip service, actually values the truth. However, we also do not value the truth as well, because the truth is, it's something that we, like, the reason why there are laws to uphold the truth is that a lot of people try to get away with telling lies. So that's why there are actually laws that has to be put in place in order to um, in order to make sure that there's some semblance of integrity, some semblance. So it's not really true integrity. It is only just the service level integrity. And most people, when it is when no one else is looking, their standard would be much lower. They will always err on the truth that would benefit them. So as far as they're concerned, the truth is what benefits them rather than what it is that actually happened. So that's why that's what I mean by that we only pay lip service to the truth. Most people, for example, even in a very simple in an office environment, is not very many people actually would stand up for their own truth. If they hear somebody say something that they may know that it's not true, is that depending on who is saying that, if it is their boss, then chances are may not um, they may not want to tell the boss that, hey, you know what, I don't agree with you. So not too many people would do that. Most people would rather beat around the bush than to go right out and stick up for them for whatever it is that is true. And it is so in the workplace, and so it is at home as well. Sometimes you don't really want to argue with somebody, even if what they believe in and what they're saying is not true according to you, because you would rather you would rather have a peaceful dinner rather than to like, stand up for your own truth. So there are so many instances that we have to swallow the truth. And the more we do that, the more our light dims, the more our frequency dies down. And it's it's actually very blatant now that a lot of the times we know that we are being manipulated. There's been so much censorship lately about, fact checkers saying that, okay, this is not true, and all that. However, most of us really know that, oh, okay, that's really um what are they fact checking? They are fact checking, according to them, facts is what is convenient for them rather than what actually took place. So the reason why is that all of this actually has been happening for a long time already. However, we don't notice it, or we don't, most people are not as aware of what actually is happening. Most of the time, we don't even know what has actually happened, and we don't have the time of day to investigate what actually happened. So we blindly believe that if it is from a reputable journalist, a reputable TV station, then it must be the truth. However, that's not the case anymore, because a lot of the what is being spewed out, what is being reported, is actually only serve a certain agenda from a certain point of view. That does not mean that we don't know the truth, because the more we allow the truth to come forth, the more we rely on the other senses that we have. I remember I've mentioned that the truth is actually a frequency that we we know, we are familiar with, and the more we take the stand that we stand up for our own truth, even though we may not actually be, um, even though we may not actually, I would say, live our whole life according to what we believe to be true and nothing but. Most of the time, we like knowing the truth and actually acting on what we know of as truth. Two different things, especially if you really want to have a peaceful life in the current environment. We have to really be on, let's say that we have to actually be very judicious and really pick our battles. There's some battles it's not worth winning. So, however, I just want to say that the more we allow ourselves to actually get back to feeling the truth and letting ourselves realize and zoom in on what is truth, then the more we can, I would say, stabilize our own frequency so that we can maintain higher frequency. Whereas the more we allow ourselves to stray from our own truth, the the more we allow our light to be dimmed down, and the more complicated the truth becomes for us. And that's only at one level. Um, at a very different level, though, at the 3D level, that is true. However, um, what really makes this idea of the truth difficult for me to talk about is that as I know, as I know, the truth, it depends on what you mean by the truth. If you think of the truth as what happened, then that is really quite, it's quicksand. You can't really stand on that, because the truth that I know of is that the truth, what happened, depends on our consciousness, depends on what our soul wants us to experience, and depends on what our consciousness, what would benefit our consciousness. Because as far as I know, there is infinite um, there is infinite truth. The truth is not single. It's not a singularity. That there is no one truth. That's that really is the difficulty, or I say the complexity of what truth is. Truth is, if we define truth as what happened, then you have to understand that we live, like, the reality is that there's infinite possibilities, and all possibilities exist simultaneously. And what actually happened in the reality that you're in really depends on where your consciousness is. So, for example, just talking about the election, let's say the U.S. election. So some people say that Trump won. Some people say that Biden won, and and um, I just, from my point of view, is that it's there is a a universe where Trump actually won, and then there is a universe where Biden actually won. And they both of these simultaneously is true, depending on where your consciousness is focusing on. So that's why it is kind of difficult to talk about the truth as being what happened. So And that's why I want to actually put forth a different way of looking at the truth. The truth is not really just what happened, but looking at the truth as why something happened the way it happened. Because if we know why, if we know why something showed up, it's actually we're getting at why our soul wanted us to have that experience, because the purpose of our soul is really to guide us on our journey through increasing and raising our consciousness to the point where we actually go back to merging with all that is. So right now, though, everybody, each and everyone that is on planet Earth, um, don't know what the truth is. And that includes me as well. I don't know what the truth is, because I know the nature of truth is that it is non-singular. There is so many versions of the truth, actually infinite version of the truth, that to say that there is one truth and only one truth is to think of truth in that way is really defeating the purpose. It is really more of a ego point of view. From an ego point of view, there has to be a truth, because our ego cannot handle uncertainty. And that's we don't like uncertainty. Our ego likes to think that it knows everything, to think that there is a truth out there. And the as far as I know, there is no single truth. The truth that each of us experience is really depending on who we are. So in short, I can say that we are the truth. That in order to learn the truth, you really have to look at who the observer is. So meaning you have to look at yourself. You have to look at who you truly are. And when you understand who you truly are, then you actually understand why we get to see the truth that we are witnessing in every moment of now. So it may sound a little confusing, I know, but I just want to bring a few things in in focus. So yes, truth is, let's put it that way. Truth is a very convoluted idea, because the truth is not a fixed target. It's not there's no one single truth. So it is better to not think of going after the truth, but to approach the truth as getting to know yourself, getting to know why. And so the first thing I want to mention about the truth, the nature of the truth, is actually, instead of going after the truth, is make a choice to know yourself. Because when you know yourself, then it becomes easier to understand what the truth is, and to actually find a level of truth that has more resonance with who you truly are. So make a choice to know yourself, and to the best of your ability is to be yourself, live the truth of who you are. And that may be a little difficult sometimes, because we still live in a society where the truth is not really valued. We valued truth that that gives us something that is convenient truth. We don't value inconvenient truth. We actually throw stones at people, and we actually intimidate and threaten people who tells us inconvenient truth. So, to the best of your ability, live in your own truth. And also is to be comfortable with not knowing what the truth is. It's not easy to be comfortable not knowing what the truth is, because we seem to have so many things dependent on what the truth is. So be comfortable, the best of your ability, to not know, to keep an open mind. The more you can keep an open mind, then the easier it is for you to actually get at the truth. And also understand that the truth is not just what happened, because what happened really depends on, which version of the universe you're tuning into. So don't if you think of the truth as just what happened, then it's like trying to walk on quicksand. Instead, think of the truth also as being something, as being why something have to happen the way it happened. And that is gives you really part of or more of why you are seeing what you're seeing. And the next thing I suggest is to allow things that don't align with your own truth to fall away. And this is easier said than done, because as a human being, we don't like change. We don't like to let go of things. We like things to stay the same. We like to stay in the same job, even though we may not like the job at all. We like to stay in the same house, even though we may not like the house or our neighbors, or like a lot of reasons. But we don't like change. That's why it's sometimes our soul has to arrange things to such an extreme in order to give us a push for us to make a change. So make it easy on yourself, is to allow the things that don't align with you to simply fall off and let them go. And then other ways that you can align yourself to know the truth is to ask yourself at least two questions. Ask yourself. The first question I suggest is that, when you when you when you think of a truth, when you say, okay, this is true for me, ask yourself this question: is this true for me because my survival depends on it? Because a lot of times, if our survival depends on something to be true, to be the way it is, then chances are it's not the real truth. Because it's actually very easy for us to fool ourselves into tuning in something that we think is true, because our, like, unconsciously, we want to survive. This survival instinct a lot of the times override our meter, or our truth detector. Fear and survival instincts is so strong that sometimes we would actually create illness for ourselves so that we don't know the truth. Because if we have the opportunity, if we have the health, then we may actually stumble on the truth that is going to blow our universe out of the water. It will actually make so many things that we have to actually change so many things in our lives in order to find the truth, our own truth. So you have to ask yourself this question: is something true because my survival depends on it? Because if your survival depends on it, you can't trust that. And the other question I suggest you would ask is that, is something true for you because it actually resonates with you? It resonates with who you are at that moment. And if your answer is yes, this is why something is true to me, then I would actually trust that more than I would trust anything else. And the reason why truth is such an elusive subject, and also such a how should I say it? It's also such a explosive subject as well. We all try to defend the truth, even though most of the time we don't even know what the truth is. And even the truth that we know, we think is true, is not true at all. It's because we we're not free. We're not free yet. And that's why I suggest that you ask yourself the question: is your survival dependent on something being true, or in certain things happening the way it is? If it is, then your survival instincts will more likely than not trump your instincts for the truth. And so, however, I still believe that the looking for the truth is still, as even though it is full of pitfalls, full of full of explosive and hidden dangers, as truth is still worth pursuing. Because when you find the truth, when you find, or I should say, when you find your own truth, when you find out what is true for you, and hang on to that and live that truth to the best of your ability, and also keep an open mind that what is true for you in this moment may not be the truth in the next moment or a month down the road, is to allow the truth to be a reflection of where you're at that moment. And don't be hung up on this idea that there is one truth and only one truth, and that everything will be all right if we all just get to the truth. As far as I know, truth is not singular. The only way to proceed is to really follow your own truth, know yourself, and allow your soul to shift you into the reality where it will most benefit you to raise and your vibration. And the more you can follow that path, then the more you will get to the truth, while at the same time knowing that the truth, there's truth is non-singular. But if you really know that you are your own truth, and the truth is something that serves you, it's something that whatever it is that you resonate with, that is the truth. then and when I say what resonate with, also is something that is resonate with you. However, it doesn't mean that your survival depends on it, because when you can be free of fear, when you can be free of this mentality of I need to survive, because I need to survive is really the I would say the song, the song for your body. Who is this I? This I is really your body. Your body, your ego wants and needs to survive. However, who you truly are is eternal. um, when you can move out of that survival mentality, that's when you come closer to truth. And we can, no matter what time it is, we can only approach the truth. We may never get to the truth, because the only time that we will get to the truth is when we get back to source. Because when we get back to source, we actually would have access to all and everything. And that is really the only moment that we will get to know what actually happened, when we can actually tune into all the possibilities in all of eternity. And that is when we finally come to what the truth is. And until we get there, we only have the version of the truth that our soul needs to focus on at the time. So that's really what I want to say about the nature of truth.